I don't subscribe to luck or chance, Miss Steele. The harder I work, the more luck I seem to have.
Welcome, everyone, to Artificially Literate. This is a place where, books, films, ideas, they all meet deep thought and, well, boundless curiosity.
Hmm.
Here, in every deep dive, we explore something compelling, a piece of literature, maybe a video or a cultural moment, and we really try to break down its philosophical and literal meanings.
You're right into it.
Exactly. So whether you love stories or you're seeking deeper meaning, or maybe you just enjoy a thoughtful takeaway, this is your space to reflect, to learn, and maybe see the world a little differently with us.
And today, we're definitely embarking on quite a journey.
Oh, yes.
We're doing a comprehensive deep dive into E.L. James's novel, 50 Shades of Grey. Now, it's really vital, I think, for us to clarify right at the start our exploration today. It's going to be exclusively focused on the narrative, the character development, the themes, all as they're presented in the text.
In the novel itself.
Right, just the book.
Just the book. We're deliberately setting aside any discussion of the film adaptations. We really want to understand the source material as it was originally written.
Makes sense.
Our mission here is to kind of extract the most important nuggets of knowledge and insight from Anastasia Steele's journey. It's quite a transformative one. And along the way, we'll also touch on the initial reception the book got, and interestingly, the character-driven critiques that are actually embedded, sometimes quite subtly, within the narrative itself.
And it's quite an extraordinary journey, as you said. When we open this book, our story really kicks off with Anastasia Steele. She's presented as, modest, pretty unassuming, an English literature student. And her world is just about to get completely turned upside down. Her roommate, Kate Kavanaugh, gets seriously ill.
Right on the day of a big interview.
Exactly. The very day she's supposed to interview this.
Yeah.
Enigmatic, mega-industrialist tycoon Christian Grey for the student paper. So Kate's sick. Anastasia gets reluctantly almost pushed into doing it.
Volunteered is putting it mildly, maybe.
Definitely. And the big catch, maybe the defining thing about this whole setup is Anastasia knows absolutely nothing about him. She's walking in completely blind.
It's such a setup of contrasts, isn't it? Right from the start.
Totally.
You see Anastasia clearly unprepared. You feel her anxiety. She's thrust into this high-pressure thing because of Kate's real coup of an interview. And it immediately highlights this huge gap between Anna's ordinary life, exams, essays, working shifts in hardware store.
Yeah, relatable student stuff.
Exactly. And then there's the high-stakes, opulent, frankly intimidating world of Christian Grey. That contrast right from page 1, it really foreshadows the dramatic shift she's about to experience. It's that classic fish-out-of-water thing, but maybe with a bit more intensity.
A predatory undertone, perhaps.
Perhaps, yeah. Exploring the initial encounters and escalating intrigue.
So Anastasia arrives at Grey Enterprises Holdings, Inc., feeling totally out of her depth. And the description of this place, it's just immense, isn't it?
Oh, it is. Grand, impersonal.
A gleaming monument to corporate power. It tells you so much about Grey before you even meet him. She interacts with the staff who are efficient, almost cold.
Stern, yeah. Including that new intern, Olivia, who seems just as overwhelmed as Anna.
Right. It's this very controlled, almost sterile atmosphere. It sets a distinct, kind of unsettling tone immediately.
And then Christian Grey himself makes his entrance. The description is pretty vivid, almost like a template for a certain kind of romantic lead, right?
Yeah, tall, fine gray suit, white shirt, black tie.
Unruly, dark, copper-colored hair, and intense, bright gray eyes. That regard her shrewdly.
And her immediate thought is about how young he looks.
Yeah, she thinks, if this guy's over 30, then I'm a monkey's uncle. Which kind of shows her expectations of what a tycoon should be.
Right.
But what's really telling, and sets the stage for their whole dynamic, is her physical reaction when they first touch hands. That odd, exhilarating shiver.
Which she immediately tries to explain away.
Instantly. Static electricity, she thinks. It's almost funny. But that immediate primal reaction, despite her awkwardness, it signals something deeper is happening, even if she doesn't want to admit it yet.
Absolutely. And even though she's supposed to be the interviewer, just asking questions, she comes out with these really blunt observations.
She does, surprisingly so.
Calling him so arrogant, suggesting he sounds like a control freak. It's pretty bold for her, especially in that setting.
You can almost feel the shift in the room.
Yeah.
And this is where Christian's character starts to really show itself. His response is fascinating because it's so calm, almost unnervingly deliberate given her challenge.
He just says,
"Oh, I exercise control in all things, Miss Steele." And there's no humor in his smile when he says it. It's chillingly literal.
Wow.
Then he expands on his philosophy, pulling quotes from Harvey Firestone about developing people and Andrew Carnegie about taking possession of one's own mind.
Right, connecting it to his responsibility for, what was it, 40,000 people?
40,000 people. He frames it as this profound form of power and influence. But Anastasia, she hears about his philanthropic work, the environmental science stuff.
And she finds it disingenuous?
Yeah, she can't quite buy it. She suspects there's a financial angle. Her skepticism really clashes with his, let's say, curated persona.
And you feel that dynamic shift again, don't you? The interview just stops being about his business.
Completely.
He's clearly intrigued by her bluntness maybe, and he just cancels his next meeting on the spot.
To extend their conversation.
Yeah, and suddenly he's asking about her,
Yeah.
her life, her plans. It's such a blatant power play yet.
Yet she seems drawn to it despite her apprehension.
Yeah.
Which brings up a really interesting point. What is it about Anastasia, the sort of unassuming student, that grabs his attention so completely, makes him break his own schedule?
Good question. Is it just the novelty?
Maybe, partly. Her unpreparedness, her directness, they definitely surprise him, but her internal monologue, it reveals this growing attraction that she's fighting against.
You see it happening in real time.
Her heartbeat quickens, her face flushes. She's struggling with his unnerving effect on her. She even wishes he'd stop that thing he does.
Oh, the finger stroking the lip thing.
Exactly. That small gesture shows how much he's already getting under her skin. This battle inside her between her rational side and these physical emotional responses, it's a constant theme, isn't it? Her intellect versus her instinct.
Definitely. So after this incredibly charged first meeting, Anastasia leaves. She's just replaying it all in her head.
A total whirlwind of emotions.
She feels foolish and embarrassed, thinks she made a fool of herself. But at the same time, she can't deny his overwhelming good looks or what he's achieved at his age, even if she found him arrogant.
It's that head versus heart conflict laid bare.
Yeah. And when she tells Kate about him later,
Her summary is quite telling. She calls him intimidating, focused, intense.
like he's old before his time, even though he's only 27.
Right. Which points to this weight he seems to carry. And she's also pretty annoyed with Kate for not giving her a bio beforehand.
Made her feel like an idiot.
Which says something about Anastasia, doesn't it? Her need to be prepared, her discomfort with being caught off guard. It's such a contrast to Christian's effortless command. She feels outmatched, and it bothers her.
So she tries to shake off this whole Christian Grey thing, goes back to her routine, heads to Clayton's hardware store where she works.
Her comfort zone.
Exactly. Finds solace in books. And it's there we meet Hosea Rodriguez. Close friend, photographer.
And clearly interested in her romantically.
Oh yeah, but she seems kind of oblivious, sees him more like a brother. Safe.
And it's here we get that really insightful internal monologue from her about her need a boyfriend Jean.
Right. She talks about wanting the trembling knees, heart in my mouth, butterflies.
Sleepless nights.
All the classic romance tropes. And then she admits she's never felt that way.
Until very recently.
Bam! Right there.
Yeah.
Directly after meeting Christian, it absolutely sets the stage for this deep, immediate pull towards him, even while her conscious mind is trying to push the thought away. Her subconscious already knows something shifted. And then, almost like clockwork, fate throws them together again.
Right there in Clayton's.
Christian Grey just shows up, in his fancy suit, looking totally out of place among the tools and paint.
Asking for the most mundane things.
Cable ties. It's almost absurd, isn't it? The contrast.
It creates this immediate kind of darkly funny tension. And the conversation quickly turns into this charged banter, this dance of hints and suggestions.
He asks her, "What is your thing, Anastasia?"
And his lips are curled in amusement. He knows the effect he's having.
She whispers, "Books." But inside,
her subconscious is screaming, "You! You are my thing!" It's such a moment of internal conflict laid bare.
And he keeps up the playful suggestions, right? Like taking off his jeans for coveralls.
Which makes her blush the color of the Communist Manifesto. Such a specific literary blush.
Only Anna. And just to make things more awkward,
Paul shows up.
Mr. Clayton's brother, the persistent suitor, keeps asking her out.
And she keeps turning him down, thinking he's no literary hero.
Ouch. Poor Paul. But it just highlights the massive difference between him and Christian in her mind.
And then Christian does something significant. He gives her his personal cell number.
Insists she'll need it.
Which Kate, practical Kate, immediately picks up on. Anna, he likes you, no doubt about it.
And Anna feels this. Quiet glee, a scalp prickle.
Even as she tries to rationalize it away, Christian Grey doesn't do nice, she thinks. But that little voice inside her whispers, Kate might be right. The struggle continues.
Things escalate pretty quickly from there, don't they? There's the drunken phone call.
Oh, yes. Late at night, fueled by curiosity about those books he sent her, and maybe a bit of liquid courage.
Which leads directly to her getting spectacularly sick at Jose's photo exhibition opening.
Publicly. Very embarrassing for her.
And then Christian just appears. Like magic.
Well, not magic. He tracked her phone, which is ethically questionable, maybe.
Yeah, but she doesn't seem to mind.
Not really. In her state, she just accepts it. And he's immediately in control, holding her hair, supporting her, producing this perfect monogrammed handkerchief. CTG.
Always prepared. And his brother Elliot is there, too, hitting it off with Kate.
Which shows how their worlds are starting to properly intertwine now.
So Christian just decides he's taking her back to his suite at the Heathman Hotel.
Takes charge completely. It's decisive, powerful, maybe a bit seductive in its own way.
Maybe. And Anna's emotional state is just all over the place.
Yeah, the book says a confusing array of emotions.
Yeah.
Weak, still drunk, embarrassed, exhausted, mortified.
And on some strange level, absolutely off the scale, thrilled.
That's the key part, isn't it? And her thoughts on him tracking her phone are revealing. Her subconscious whispers that it's wrong.
But somehow, because it's him, I don't mind.
It shows how quickly she's developing this trust, this attraction, maybe bordering on irrational. It's an early warning sign, perhaps, of her willingness to give up control for him.
So the next morning, she wakes up in his bed.
And he's already up, dressed, perfectly composed.
And makes that dry comment about undressing her.
Necrophilia is not my thing. I like my women sentient and receptive. It's designed to reassure her, but also subtly remind her of her vulnerability, his control.
And that control is everywhere, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's already arranged for new clothes because hers were, well,
spattered with your vomit, as he so delicately puts it. The suite itself is vast, like an art gallery. Huge walk-in closet. It's a world away from her life.
He's also weirdly attentive, though. Knows her exact tea preference. Twining's English breakfast.
Provides it without asking. It's that mix of care and control again. But then he starts the Christian Grey Inquisition again, asking about her future plans, suggesting she apply to his company.
Probing. Trying to understand her, maybe integrate her into his world.
Exactly. And then comes the real bombshell, the thing that starts to define their relationship.
The consent line.
Right. Because I'm not going to touch you, Anastasia, not until I have your written consent to do so.
Her internal reaction is just, holy shit.
Understandably, it completely floors her. And it sends her mind racing, speculating wildly about his secret life, white slavery, crime syndicates.
Her imagination goes to dark places trying to make sense of it.
Because it's so outside normal experience.
So he invites her to dinner in Seattle that evening. Promises to acquaint you with the facts then.
But adds that warning.
Once you're enlightened, you probably won't want to see me again. It's like a challenge. Understand me if you dare.
And the trip to Seattle. Another display of wealth and competence. The Charlie Tango helicopter ride.
Which he says is a first for me, sharing it with a woman. Making her feel special.
Deliberately impressive. And she is impressed. Odd Christian, she says. Every part of his life seems designed to control the narrative, control perceptions.
They arrive at his apartment, which is described as more like a gallery than a place to live.
Yeah.
Pristine, almost cold.
Yeah, lacking personal warmth. And then the reveal. The playroom.
And her immediate thought goes to literature again.
Like Tess Derbyfield looking at the new house that belongs to the notorious Alec d'Urberville.
Wow. That's heavy.
It's incredibly telling, coming from her. Tess Derbyfield, the tragic heroine exploited by the manipulative Alec d'Urberville in Hardy's novel. That comparison, right there in her head, signals this deep subconscious dread. A fear of exploitation, of lost innocence, even before he explains anything.
She thinks Kate had said he was dangerous. She was so right.
But even then, even with that literary warning echoing in her mind, part of her doesn't want to run screaming from this room.
Because she knows.
She knows instinctively, almost against her better judgment, she's going to say yes. That internal warfare versus attraction, it's the engine driving everything, isn't it? Delving into deepening engagement and emerging conflicts.
Okay, so as we move deeper into this, let's call it complex relationship, maybe it's a good moment to just pause and think about these dynamics, because this next part is really where things get intense.
Absolutely. We're at a pivotal moment now. Christian presents her with the contract.
Right. The contract. Complete with an NDA and these incredibly detailed rules for a submissive. It's not just a suggestion. It's a full-on legalistic document.
The specificity is really striking and frankly revealing. It states the submissive accepts the dominant as her master and understands she is now the property of the dominant. I mean, that's a huge shift in power dynamics right there.
Property.
Yeah. And for anyone listening who might not be familiar with BDSM bondage, discipline, dominance, submission, sadism, masochism typically, the dominant takes control, the submissive gives control, but often within agreed boundaries for specific activities. This contract, though, it goes way beyond that.
How so?
Well, look at the obedience rule. The submissive will obey any instructions given by the dominant immediately without hesitation or reservation. And it's not just about the playroom. It dictates her daily life.
Minimum sleep hours, what she eats.
A prescribed list of foods, wearing only clothing approved by the dominant, using a clothing budget. He's essentially trying to codify intimacy, turn it into this meticulously controlled performance. It says so much about his need for structure, maybe his fear of unpredictability in relationships.
And the soft limits section. Wow. It's just this exhaustive list.
It really is a clinical checklist of sexual acts for negotiation. Everything from masturbation, fellatio, cunnilingus,
Vaginal and anal intercourse, fisting.
swallowing semen, various toys, vibrators, dildos, butt plugs, and then the bondage methods. Hands tied, ankles, knees, elbows, wrists, ankles, spreader bars.
Tied to furniture, blindfolding, gagging, rope, tape, leather cuffs, suspension.
Handcuffs, metal restraints. The sheer range signals the extreme nature of what he wants, the level of control he's seeking. It pushes Anna way beyond anything conventional.
So how does she react to seeing all this laid out?
It's pure internal conflict. Her rational thought is immediate. This is no way to have a relationship. She's exhausted, mentally and physically, from the intensity of the last day or so. But then there's her inner goddess, this personification she uses. And the inner goddess is apparently jumping up and down, clapping her hands like a 5-year-old. Please, let's do this.
Wow. Quite the contrast.
It really highlights that war inside her, the rational mind versus this deep, almost primal desire for something different, something beyond her usual experience, even if it scares her. It's that allure of the forbidden, maybe challenging her to break out of her own mold.
So after the contract discussion, they have their first intimate encounter.
Yes. And Christian is brutally direct. I don't make love. I fuck hard. He deliberately strips away any romance from the language, sets the tone.
Yet her physical response is immediate. Overwhelming even.
Multiple orgasms. Despite her apprehension, there's clearly a powerful physical chemistry there. Her inner monologue reflects that. She thinks she's so wet, so quickly, so responsive, calls the experience absolutely exquisite.
A pleasure she hasn't known before.
Exactly. But then right after his release, he withdraws. Physically, emotionally.
Leaving her feeling utterly spent.
It highlights this recurring pattern for him. Intense physical connection followed by immediate emotional distance. It leaves Anna confused, wanting more connection.
But then, interestingly, we see these glimpses of vulnerability from him afterwards.
We do, playing that melancholy piano music in the early hours, revealing he has trouble sleeping, that he's not used to sleeping with anyone. It's a peek behind the control freak facade.
Is it genuine, though? Or just another way to draw her in?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? What we do see is his control subtly extending into her daily life, meals, clothes, and this underlying irritation when she questions the contract or hesitates. His Christian Grey Inquisition continues, wanting to know everything about her, almost obsessively. He wants intimacy, but strictly on his terms.
Which brings us to that quote you mentioned earlier, Christian saying, "I've never wanted more until I met you." Given everything we just discussed, his control, his detachment, what does that line signify?
It feels incredibly significant. For someone so defined by control, by emotional distance, by these rigid contracts, to say, "I've never wanted more," feels like a massive crack in his armor.
A shift.
A fundamental shift, I think. It suggests Anna has awakened something in him, a hunger, a yearning that maybe he didn't know he had or had deliberately suppressed. It feels like a moment of raw honesty, hinting at a deeper emotional capacity than his lifestyle usually allows. It's the first time he really admits her power over him, her ability to disrupt his ordered world. And that sets the stage for so much emotional turmoil to come.
Okay, let's unpack this. This deep dive is getting truly intense, isn't it? As we navigate Anastasia's journey, we want to invite you to join our community and keep these conversations going.
Exactly. If you're finding these insights and discussions as fascinating as we are, and you want to continue exploring complex literary works with us, make sure you follow Artificially Literate wherever you listen. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube.
It helps us keep bringing you these deep dives, ensuring you're always well-informed and looking at stories a little differently. Now back to Anastasia's unfolding story, navigating clarity, confrontation, and disillusionment. So we get to Anastasia's graduation day, and Christian shows up unexpectedly, very publicly.
And notably, he's wearing that tie.
The one that immediately makes Anna think of.
Her bound wrists. It's a deliberate, loaded symbol. And his speech is surprising, too, isn't it?
Yeah. And instead of just business talk, he focuses on eradicating hunger and poverty. Reveals this personal motivation, saying he's known what it's like to be profoundly hungry. It's another glimpse into a possible traumatic past.
This public appearance creates some interesting social dynamics. Kate, being Kate, introduces Christian as Anna's boyfriend to her stepfather, Ray.
Trying to normalize it.
Trying to put a label on it. And Christian handles Ray perfectly smoothly, talks fly fishing with him.
And actually gets Ray's rare, genuine, bona fide Ray Steele smile, which is huge, apparently.
It shows Christian can project that charming, respectable image when he needs to. He's a master manipulator of social situations.
But Anastasia is struggling internally with all the gifts he keeps giving her. The MacBook, the BlackBerry, the Audi car.
She sees them less as gifts, more as control, commodification.
Yeah, like she's being bought. She even wants to donate the car to charity. It shows how much she wants to maintain her own autonomy, even surrounded by all this luxury.
And this tension just explodes in that email exchange they have.
Oh, right, where she pushes back hard.
Calls herself some woman I fuck occasionally, which is brutal.
And he gets furious, warns her, "You really wouldn't like me when I'm angry."
But underneath the anger, there's this raw vulnerability again. I am nervous that you've flown 3,000 miles to get away from me, because you can't think clearly around me. It's the same for me, Anastasia. My reason vanishes when we're together.
That's the depth of my feeling for you. And he appreciates her innocence too, right?
Yeah, he says, I'm in awe of you, that one so innocent would be willing to try. It really shows how dependent he's becoming on her, even as he swings between rage and this desperate need.
So, needing space, meeting perspective, Anna goes to Georgia to visit her mom, Carla.
Back to her roots, trying to find some grounding away from his world.
And Carla gives her some pretty straightforward advice.
Very pragmatic. Men aren't really complicated, Anna, honey. They are very simple, literal creatures. If I were you, I'd take them literally.
And that changes things for Anna, doesn't it?
It really does. It's like a switch flips. Suddenly, things Christian said before, I don't want to lose you, you've completely beguiled me. She starts hearing them literally, not just as romantic fluff. It makes her rethink everything.
But Christian can't stay away, can he?
Nope. Shows up surprisingly in Georgia. The longing is too strong.
Which leads to that tense dinner with Carla.
Yeah.
Especially when Anna confronts him about Mrs. Robinson, Elena.
Yeah, that conversation gets heated fast. Anna sees Elena as a predator, a child molester.
But Christian defends her vehemently.
Calls her a force for good, what I needed. He gets incredibly defensive, shuts down, refuses to explain the why behind his BDSM needs.
Says she'd run screaming if he told her.
That refusal to explain, to be truly vulnerable about his origins, it's the core barrier between them, isn't it? But even amidst all that, Carla sees something.
She tells Anna that Christian loves her, despite her own doubts about the relationship.
Carla sees the emotional truth, even if Anna can't reconcile it with his darkness yet.
Then there's that glider ride, high above everything.
A moment of temporary escape, maybe? And he says it again, I've never wanted more until I met you.
And he opens up a bit more, doesn't he? About past relationships.
Yeah, Nabab mentions Layla, one of the 15 exes who wanted more. And he's surprisingly honest about not wanting kids. It's stark vulnerability.
Giving her more context, but maybe more unsettling context.
Possibly. And it's followed by that second, even more intense playroom scene. The sensory deprivation one.
Blindfold, music blocking sound. Just touch.
It's a calculated experiment in sensation and control, pushing her boundaries even further. Her reactions are complex: fear, pleasure, confusion. It's designed to strip away her defenses.
After that, they talk about the contract again. He admits it's moot, no?
Acknowledges it failed for them, but then quickly adds, the rules aren't moot, they still stand.
And he says that thing about her.
Nothing you do is expected, Anastasia. It's part admiration, part frustration. She doesn't fit the mold. She defies him, which is both infuriating and compelling for him.
Can love really work like that, though, with one person needing that much control and the other inherently resisting it?
That's the crux of it. And his admission, I want to hurt you, but not beyond anything that you couldn't take, is chillingly honest, but he still won't explain why.
And that's the breaking point for Anna.
That inability or unwillingness to communicate the root cause, it's the gap she can't bridge. She needs to understand, and he won't or can't tell her.
So she finally realizes she can't do it.
Yeah.
Can't fulfill his need for punishment.
Her internal thought is crystal clear. I don't want him to hit me like that again, ever. It's heartbreaking, but she accepts. She loves 50 Shades of him, but she has to leave. It's self-preservation.
So she leaves the note and the glider
The
kit.
symbol of freedom, yeah, left on his pillow. His reaction when he finds her gone is pure panic. Find her, he snaps to Taylor. His control just shatters.
And she just walks away, silently leaves the apartment, feeling anguish, loss.
Knowing she can't be what he needs and he can't be what she truly desires, it's tragic, really. Not about hate, but about fundamental incompatibility.
Looking back at the book as a whole, it definitely has this power to provoke strong reactions. You see it even within Anastasia herself, with her inner goddess and subconscious.
Those personifications are quite clever, aren't they? They act as this running internal commentary, showing her conflict, her desires, her fears all at once. It lets the reader really experience her psychological turmoil.
And the book clearly sparked massive public engagement.
Oh, absolutely. Just look at places like Goodreads. The sheer volume of reviews, debates, different interpretations, it became a genuine cultural phenomenon. And interestingly, the narrative sort of critiques itself, doesn't it?
How do you mean?
Through the other characters, like Kate constantly warning Anna that Christian is so controlling, and through Anna's own reactions, her blushing, her internal conflict, and ultimately her decision to leave, the story itself explores the emotional and psychological fallout of this dynamic.
So the critiques are kind of baked into this story.
I think so. It polarized people because it put these complex issues, consent, power, desire, right out there in a fictional context, forcing conversations that went way beyond just the book itself. It became a talking point for relationships and boundaries in popular culture.
You are the most fascinating woman I know. That email quote from Christian feels poignant now.
It does. It captures his obsession, maybe even his confusion about her impact on him.
Well, that brings us towards the end of this deep dive here on Artificially Literate. It's been, as we said, a raw, often uncomfortable, but definitely compelling exploration of E.L. James's 50 Shades of Grey. Anastasia's journey really does force us, I think, to confront some complex questions about desire, autonomy, consent, and the nature of love itself, which can be pretty elusive and sometimes dangerous.
It certainly does. And the story leaves us with a lingering thought, doesn't it? In this world of really complex needs and desires, how much of ourselves are we willing to surrender? And what hidden parts of ourselves might come out when we're faced with the many shades of someone else? And maybe the many shades within ourselves.
That's a deep thought to end on.
Something to ponder.
And that wraps up this deep dive. We really hope you've enjoyed our exploration of E.L. James's 50 Shades of Grey here on Artificially Literate.
It's been quite the journey indeed. Thank you so much for listening to Artificially Literate. We really appreciate your curiosity and you joining us for these thoughtful conversations.
Don't forget, you can check out our other deep dives. For more discussions on compelling books, films, and cultural moments, please follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube, and stay tuned for our next book. And remember, feed your brain, starve your inner fool.